Meanwhile, Ukrainian morale is very high despite everything. But where the Russians truly fucked up is their logistics. They don't have enough food and fuel. Thus, Russians just leave vehicles with empty tanks on the roadside, only to be blown up or towed away by Ukrainians. There are cases of Russian soldiers leaving grocery stores for food and knocking on locals' doors at night asking to buy food and fuel for any price. The Russian army simply didn't have enough trucks.
But first, a word from our sponsors.
I want to say thank you to all of my Patreon supporters and Twitch subscribers. If you want to help out the channel, support me on Patreon at Crimson60620 and on Twitch at Crimson620. Thank you for your support and please enjoy the video.
Back to you.
Alright, so I don't know who it was. I think it was Joe. Yeah, my allergies are starting to act up. It's like after 9 o'clock, it really bothers me. But I'm gonna push on because we have a special fucking announcement. We have live from motherfucking Ukraine. We have Gonzala motherfucking Laura. Yes. Leave while you still can. So, I was told by Little Birdie that Coach Redpill deleted most of his videos off his channel and has only a few videos. So, we're gonna go and see what one of these videos what just came out. We're gonna say what 5 days ago. Oh no, it wasn't 5 days ago. It was a few months ago, back in October. Let's see what the fuck he's talking about. But hey, we're gonna do more than that. We're gonna actually do this too. I'm here in Ukraine. This motherfucker is in Ukraine. Oh my god. Like, wait. You know what? I'm calling an audible. We're gonna actually do this. We're gonna do this. Coach Redpill is gonna talk about this, and we're gonna push that other video back to another day. But we're gonna talk about this. So let's see how shit he looks. Let's see how shit he looks. This is fucking awesome. This is fucking awesome. For him, we have to put it on 1.5 speed. Let's go. Let's go.
So today is Saturday.
Oh no. Drea. He's probably in Ukraine now. We have videos of him saying that go to the east, go get you a Eastern European girl because they have low standards. He is probably there. He looks fucked up. Yeah, he probably there. Oh, what Russia wants from the Ukrainian invasion and why Zelensky is evil. Oh, he's doing the conservative talk about points. Okay. Let's go.
February 26th. And it's the third day of the invasion of Ukraine by Russia. Now, people in the United States do not seem to understand what is going on insofar as Russia's invasion is concerned. Because
Putin is like Hitler. He wants to take the land for the resources, the money, and he gave some fucking blood and soil speech. I'm sorry, that's just what it is. He's scared of NATO expansion. No, the fuck he not. He has nukes, and he knows that the U.S. will not nuke his ass. So he feels that I'm going to take everything I fucking can until I have to stop acting like I'm fucking crazy. But let's go.
they keep saying that Russia is failing, which is the weirdest comment. Russia is failing because Russia hasn't taken out the infrastructure of Ukraine, hasn't hit the electrical grid, hasn't destroyed the cell phone towers.
Yeah, even after they shot at a fucking nuclear power plant that provides 20% of the fucking nuclear power to Ukraine. And there's like, wow, fuck, wow. We may have to do that Adam Something's video. Like, Seriously, we may have to start doing. May have to start doing that because like this shit, like he's being an apologetic for Russia. Okay, let's. Oh fuck, let's go.
Or the water supply or something like that. It's just remarkable. They keep insisting that the Russians seem to advance and then retreat whenever they meet any resistance.
Oh god, this shit. But they do. They are literally all of the shit that they try to do within the last fucking week. Plus, they've accomplished maybe half of one of their major objectives. Maybe half. And this motherfucker is proud about that shit. Like the fuck? Okay, let's go.
And it's just a failure of imagination on the part of so many American commentators that they do not seem to understand what Russia is really doing.
They're trying to yank. They try to gank motherfucking Ukraine. That's what they are. We actually have the article that they fucking put out saying, oh yeah, we won this war and we got to resolve and Ukraine is now a part of Russia. Like literally, we know what the fuck they're trying to do. They're trying to gank Ukraine. That's it. They're just trying to say mine. Putin is just trying to say mine. They try to gank Ukraine. That's it.
With this invasion. Because you see, the American mode of war is to go to a country and destroy everything. Destroy the electrical grid, cell towers, the water supply system, everything. Just destroy the whole thing and then roll in. That's not fighting a war. That's just mopping up the total annihilation.
And yet, we have reports of Russia using cluster bombs on fucking city centers. Like, wow, what are they doing? Love bombing these buildings? For 3 fucking days. They was like, okay, let the civilians actually exit out, create a corridor so the civilians, and Russia fucked that up because reasons. The fuck? Okay, let's go.
Of a country. And the United States has done this repeatedly in Afghanistan, in Iraq, in Libya, in Syria, or they semi-tried to do it in Syria. I mean, it's really kind of like a despicable way of making war, right? But what are the Russians doing? Well, see, the Russians, they don't want to destroy Ukraine. No, they don't want to destroy it at all. What they want to do is they want to capture it intact. See?
In other words, annex. They want to annex Ukraine. They want to take it over. Yes, they want to annex Ukraine. That's it. They want to annex Ukraine. Oh God. Okay. And you know what? I literally have had people that like I told you guys like last week I had somebody mention a great replacement. Today I had somebody paying for the Epoch Times. Wow. Okay, let's go. Let's go.
And they don't want to hurt the civilians. Why would they?
Because it's war. It's war. They're hurting civilians. They're killing kids. They fucking bombed a children's cancer hospital. Now I get it. You know, them, shelling a nuclear power plant. That's bad. That's bad. But the optics of saying like, oh, we're gonna hit a children's hospital. No, let's hit a children's hospital for kids with cancer. That will make us look good. Okay. Oh wow. Okay.
From their point of view, if they harm civilians, they just create enemies. And so
they created enemies when they went across the border to another sovereign state and say, mine! Ukrainian motherfuckers are literally towing Russian shit because they ran out of gas. Okay. God. Oh my God. Okay. All right, let's go.
To capture Ukraine, change the political leadership of Ukraine, and install a political leadership that is sympathetic to Russia's security needs.
Wow, that's a lot of words for saying annex Ukraine and cause a coup. That's a lot of words for saying that. Like, no, like it sounds really clinical. You know what, guys? You know what? Russia just wants to capture Ukraine and then install somebody that is more amenable to amenable to Russia's wills, like some sort of turnaround, like some sort of coup. Like literally, he just described a fucking coup. Oh my God, is he that stupid that he doesn't know it? Or like this motherfucker, like it would surprise you guys that he may know what a coup is, because part of his heritage is he's Chilean. This motherfucker is Chilean. I think he may know what a coup is. Fuck out of here. Oh, wow.
And is going to be a long-term ally. But they don't want to alienate the Ukrainian population. Because if they alienate the Ukrainian population, well, the Ukrainian population will eventually overthrow this puppet regime. And the
like they did in 2014. Like they did it. Okay. Quick history. In 2008, Ukraine was actually trying to move closer to the West. And then whatever that fucker is, was a puppet, a Russian puppet, and he was like, "No, Russia, good Lord Putin, what do you want us to do?" And then people protested, and then the president at that time started killing people in protest, and they came for his ass. They literally came for his ass. He was able to go out, but yeah, guess where he ran to? Moscow. But let's go.
Russians want to install a puppet regime. Let's not pretend otherwise. But they want to install a puppet regime whereby the Ukrainian citizens are more or less indifferent to it. They don't want to install a puppet regime after having made the lives of Ukrainians so miserable.
So why did they fucking invade? Why are they killing civilians? Why are they destroying shit? No, because they're fucking monstrous.
So that's why they don't want to destroy Ukraine or harm the Ukrainian populace.
Again, why are they using cluster bombs in fucking urban cities? Oh, okay,
They want
let's
to
go.
capture Ukraine intact, change the political leadership, and then let it go. Of course, because they don't want to manage Ukraine. They don't want it to be a burden on them.
Yes, they do. If they want to put a puppet dictator in the fucking area, they want to literally manage Ukraine. They want to actually have one of their puppets doing the shit they need to do, just like in Belarus. And even that motherfucker's like, okay, yeah. War started, gun holders, and it's like, oh shit, the world is turning against Russia. Oh shit, the world is turning against Russia. Oh shit, the world banking is turning against Russia. Yeah, too late for that. Too late for not having a population go against Russia, right? Let's go.
They don't want that long term. And so what are they doing? They are rapidly invading the whole country, and everybody concedes that they're moving very, very quickly.
No, they're not. Okay, no one. Yeah, of course he's red pill, because this move brain would actually turn anybody off.
But they're not hitting any civilian infrastructure. They're only hitting military targets. And they are relentless in hitting the military targets.
No, they're for a while they weren't hitting any targets. That column that went from 3 miles to 30, it stalled out because, oh my God. Okay. We're gonna do the Adam something video if I still can breathe after this shit. But let's go.
Targets, but always with a certain degree of caution. And I'll explain why in just a moment. But they're hitting military targets. They are avoiding civilian populations and civilian infrastructure. And when they go to a city or a destination,
No. The reason why they're avoiding the civilian places is because they can't win in these big cities. They can't win in these block by block cities. They're getting pushed out of the big cities. It was that one city that they just caught Sunday or Saturday, and even that is, well, it's some fighting still going on there. Okay, let's go.
when they encounter any resistance from the Ukrainian army, any serious resistance, they stop and pull back. Because what are they doing? They are encircling.
Wait. Wait. What he just said makes no fucking sense. When they encounter any real resistance from the Ukrainian army, they stop and pull back. That's not a winning strategy. This isn't fucking Hannibal and the fucking the Carthaginian soldiers who crossed the Alps. No, these fuckers barely have any training whatsoever, and they're getting routed in some places. And it's so fucking bad that Putin is sending in the Chechens, who he thinks are as cannon fodder. Wow. I give you that. Like, look, I'm both a Sapio and Demi, and fuckers, like, if I was a woman, why this like dry, stupid motherfucker? Oh my god. I will never be wet again. All right, let's go.
That's their whole strategy. It's very simple. And if you look at a map, you'd realize it. What the Russians are doing is that whenever they go to a major city, like Kiev, like Kharkov, and soon enough they're going to be in Dnipro, when they get to those cities, they go up to those cities and they meet some resistance and then they pull back.
Because they're facing not just the Ukrainian regular forces. So what kills me with this is a lot of people was like, well, the Ukraine government was saying, no, Russia isn't going to invade. All the while they were training citizens to be motherfucking while they were training citizens to do some stereotypic shit. When they were training citizens to fight against the opposition, they were saying, like, no, Russia isn't going to be invaded. Russia is going to invade. But either way, hey, you public person, why don't you motherfucking learn how to do this shit? Like, ooh, you look. Hey, you brewery, why don't you switch to making motherfucking Molotov cocktails? Like, wow, like, there's Ukraine forces, and then there's the Ukraine special forces, and then there are the people who don't fucking like Russia. As has been said in the chat, it's too late for the people not to give a fuck about Russia. They care.
And they allow their forces to start to surround it. And that's the strategy they're employing in Kiev. That's the strategy that they're employing in Kharkov. They are encircling these cities, and once they've completely encircled them, what will they do? They'll wait. That's what they'll do. See, if you surround a city, all you have to do is just wait around. Eventually it'll fall, of course. And so
all right, this is just like, we're gonna have Coach Red Priel versus, all right, let's do it. I actually was watching this earlier, and I'm sorry, this is just so fucking disgusting. Let's do this. History. So the history of my fucking let's do the history before I started. Yes, this is the shit that I was watching. Here we go.
Hello everyone. So as you
Let's go. And if you haven't watched Adam Something's channel, fucking watch it. It's fucking awesome. Now, this is the current map of Ukraine. As far as like 21 hours ago, but here it is.
You might have heard, Russia has invaded Ukraine. Full scale, all directions, with the full use of their arsenal. This video is an analysis of the current situation in Ukraine, taking into account multiple aspects of the war. At the time of making this video, it's the 12th day of the invasion, and Russians, while having caused massive damage and casualties, have not managed to achieve any of their main military objectives. In fact, they're taking very heavy losses during all this, to the point where some say Ukraine might just be able to win against the second most powerful military on the planet. So, okay, what the hell is happening here?
So, you see the map? Now, mind you, Coach Red Pill made that video, I want to say he made it a day 3 of the invasion. This is day 12. Now, I get it. We live in a modern age where we think that things are supposed to be happening faster, but Russia is rolling in with tanks. They are rolling in with tanks. And this shit right here. But let's continue.
To understand, we'll go through what the Russians originally planned and what ended up happening instead. But before that, as a quick public service announcement, if you're a Ukrainian journalist, my sponsor, Atlas, is the ultimate right now access to
skip this right quick.
Now, the 12th day, Russians aren't to achieve all their objectives plus Ukraine based on documents. Now, back to the program.
There we go, let's
go.
The
Russians' plan to seize Ukraine was essentially a blitzkrieg. Based on documents found in destroyed columns, they wanted to get this shit done within 2 weeks, i.e. achieve all their objectives plus Ukraine's capitulation. Sharp-eyed viewers might notice that as of now, the 12th day, Russians aren't even close to achieving any objectives.
Alright, so you guys see that. Like, They had planned on having this shit. They plan on being in Kiev right now, installing their puppet government. This is what they planned on doing. But this shit didn't happen. But let's go.
Turns out Russia severely miscalculated, expecting low Ukrainian resistance and a quick advance. The plan was the following: break out of Crimea and move west and east. Land a bunch of troops around Odessa, link up with the west-moving troops, and encircle the city. The east-heading troops were to continue to Mariupol, where they link up with the forces from the Donbass, encircling Mariupol itself. Kharkiv was to be encircled as well, with forces coming from the east and northeast. In the north, Russians were to take cities like Sumy and Chernihiv, then proceed down towards Kiev. Join troops.
Yeah, this is supposed to be just a melting all over, just taking every side. Yeah, this isn't Crusades. People don't siege warfare anymore. Of course they don't. But Coach Red Pill thinks that, yeah, no, of course they siege. Like, we have airplanes, dog. We have airplanes. We can airdrop shit. Yeah.
Troops from the northeast and once again encircle the city. So in the Russian dream scenario, within 2 or 3 days, most major Ukrainian cities are encircled. Meanwhile, their armies are rolling through the countryside, forcing a quick and desperate surrender in Kiev, and Ukraine is annexed before the West can recover from its confusion. They even pre-wrote an article for this occasion, which people found on the RIA.
And this is the shit that I mean. They pre-wrote an article. Now, I know I put out videos a fucking ahead of time, but like, wow, okay, let's go.
Website titled Russia's Offensive on the New World. It's Google translated to English. Russia is restoring its unity. The tragedy of 1991, this terrible catastrophe in our history, its unnatural dislocation, has been overcome. Yes, at a great cost. Yes, through the tragic event of a virtual civil war. Because now brothers, separated by belonging to the Russian and Ukrainian armies, are still shooting at each other, but there will be no more Ukraine as anti-Russia. Russia is restoring its historical fullness, gathering the Russian world, the Russian people, together in its entirety of Great Russians, Belarusians, and Little Russians. If we had
In other words, Ukraine as a country is going bye-bye. It's going bye-bye.
Abandon this. If we had allowed the temporary division to take hold for centuries, that we would not only betray the memory of our ancestors, but also be cursed by our descendants for allowing the disintegration of the Russian land. Vladimir Putin has assumed, without a drop of exaggeration, a historic responsibility by deciding not to leave the solution of the Ukrainian question for future generations.
Yes, the Ukrainian question. Like it's some sort of, it's a UK instead of the J. Is this a UQ instead of the JQ? Yeah, exactly.
After all, the need to solve it would always remain the main problem for Russia, for 2 key reasons. And the issue of national security, that is, the creation of anti-Russia from Ukraine as an outpost for the West to put pressure on us, is only the second most important among them. Now this problem is gone. Ukraine has returned to Russia. This does not mean that its statehood will be liquidated, but it will be reorganized, re-established, and returned to its natural state as part of the Russian.
Yes, in the document, the natural state is part of Russia. Like, literally, they have actually carved up the corpse already in this article. Because it came out too early. Let's go.
World. In what borders, in what form will the alliance with Russia be fixed? Through the CSTO and the Eurasian Union, or the Union State of Russia and Belarus? This will be decided after the end dispute in the history of Ukraine as anti-Russia. In any case, the period of the split of the Russian people is coming to an end. This is literal Nazi shit, by the way. Territorial conquest based on...
Like, he made a good point. This is the shit that the Nazis said. Like, fuck. The Aryan people need to stick together. And all, like, yeah.
No nationalism, aiming to restore the mythical past greatness of Russia. Oh, by the way, the Russian invasion is officially called Special Military Operation to denazify Ukraine. Go figure. However, as I've mentioned before, the Russian blitzkrieg didn't work. It's day 12, no major objectives have been achieved, and Russians are taking heavy losses everywhere. To understand where they fucked up, let's go back to the very beginning. The whole invasion began by Russians unloading on Ukraine with ballistic missiles, hitting military bases, airports, and so on. This was done to cripple Ukrainian defenses, of course, break their chain of command, and send them into chaos so Russians can just roll in and mop them up. However, Ukrainians got intel from NATO just in time and managed to shuffle things around right before the strikes.
So this is actually funny. This is one of those things where it's just like a lot of shit went really well for Ukraine, but a lot of bad shit went really bad for Russia. Not only did they get intel, but some Russian motherfucking general said, "Hey, Zelensky, they coming after your ass," and they were able to foil an assassination plot. Their fucking puppet states in Belarus is like, the world is about to cut off their money supply because, like, we should send troops in, and like the fucking Russia puppet that Putin has his hands up his ass and he talks out his mouth was like, yeah, we gonna want nukes. Then they saw the world cutting off money in Russia. They're like, maybe we shouldn't because we like money. Okay, let's go.
logistics. While some things did get destroyed, most equipment survived, and, very importantly, the chain of command remained intact. The predicted chaos among the defenders also didn't happen. Ukrainians stood their ground. As a result, Russians started fucking up right at their first objective, namely Kharkiv. That was the first location where they got bogged down, and they haven't managed to advance ever since. In the south, Russians did achieve at least some success.
Remember, Coach Red Pill said that they get some resistance and they pull away to try to encircle, but this don't look like they encircling shit.
Having managed to advance to Mariupol in the east and successfully encircling it. So now comes the hard part for those troops, i.e. to actually try and take the city. And that will take weeks at best with heavy losses and block-by-block urban warfare. In the north, Russians did manage to roll into cities like Sumy, but were promptly beaten out and forced back to the outskirts. As of now, the most important cities in the north are under Ukrainian control. Russians were supposed to take these cities on their way to Kiev, but when they couldn't, they simply went around them instead, focusing all their efforts on Kiev. But this is leading to additional losses, since they had to stretch their supply lines further in hostile areas. But the real fuck-ups have been happening around Kiev. An important strategic objective to the northwest is Hostomel Airport, which the Russians initially took with a massive helicopter raid.
So this is actually was fun, like not fun because it was a loss of life, but this was actually interesting. So if you ever play an RTS where you see like your major troops in there and actually try to fucking like cause chaos in the middle of a fucking base with like your transport troops, if you play StarCraft, so that's like loading up a fucking transport troops. A transport full of like ghosts and shit with full cloaks and shit, and then drop them down in one area, and then the ghosts go out and start killing shit and everything right around where your fucking SCVs are. But all of a sudden, this shit happens.
Some 24 helicopters rolled through, clearing out the defenses, followed by elite Russian paratroopers, but then they were defeated by Ukrainians who took back the airport. And not only that, but Ukrainians also shot down 2 IL-76 transport planes. That's easily 300 plus KIA Russian elite soldiers. This was a huge loss of face for the Russian military. Russians then broke in from the north proper, taking the Chernobyl zone in the process. But they once again got bogged down, this time in Kiev's northern suburbs, where Ukrainians blew up bridges and keep harassing their columns. Suburbs like Irpin and Bucha are consequently...
Damn it! Look at that shit! Look at what the fuck they just did! Look at this. Oh, okay, let's go.
Full of wrecked Russian hardware. Aside from the Ukrainian army and the territorial defenses, Ukrainian spec ops are also operating in the area, hence the lack of Russian progress. Okay, so why do Russians move in easy to ambush columns instead of simply rolling through the land? The answer is the mild weather turning fields into swamps, and them getting stuck in mud is only one of the reasons why they avoid it. The second reason is the lack of tire maintenance. Turns out wheeled vehicles need to be moved at least once a month, otherwise their tires decay and become brittle. If you decrease pressure at that point, the tire will simply tear itself apart. And turns out tires need to be depressurized so the vehicles don't sink in the mud. So yeah, for Russians, driving across the fields either means getting stuck in the mud or having tires shred. For this reason, they have to keep to the roads, which makes them easier targets for defenders. Other problems for the Russians include morale and logistics. Russian troops are fighting against a quote-unquote fraternal people for no good reason other than Putin's imperial ambitions. However, many of their troops are essentially kids in their early 20s, conscripts who were forced to sign papers making them temporary contractors so they can be deployed into a war zone.
So, again, these are people fighting for their homeland against people who really don't give a shit because they need to motherfucking make money. But let's go.
Meanwhile, Ukrainian morale is very high despite everything. But where the Russians truly fucked up is their logistics. They don't have enough food and fuel. Thus, Russians just leave vehicles with empty tanks on the roadside, only to be blown up or towed away by Ukrainians. There are cases of Russian soldiers leaving grocery stores for food and knocking on locals' doors at night, asking to buy food and fuel for any price. The Russian army simply didn't have enough trucks and other logistics systems for this invasion, and what they have is decreasing rather fast. Just their visually confirmed truck losses are currently above 200. This maelstrom of incompetence has resulted in images like this: 4 Russian Tunguska Sams consisting $16 million each abandoned next to the road, and then locals setting them on fire. I believe, however, that in the following days, the focus of attention will shift towards the south. Here, the Russians are far more successful since they are operating out of established military bases in Crimea, among other things. There's a great thread on Twitter about this by retired Major General Mick Ryan, which I recommend you check out. Basically, Mariupol will likely fall in the future, and if Odessa is taken, that will be a huge long-term issue for the Ukrainians. So we should look at how the situation will develop in the coming days there. But the military conflict is only one of the aspects of the invasion. There's also an information war going on, which Ukraine is winning. Consequently, aside from the terminally online weirdos and open fascists, pretty much everyone in the developed world is pro-Ukraine.
What did he say? Terminally online and weirdos and open fascists? I rest my case. But let's go, let's go.
Right now. The Russian narrative didn't stick, overwhelmed by, well, reality, and savvy use of mass media by the Ukrainian leadership. On the economic front, Russia is heading towards a collapse. Special economic descent, my bad. The US dollar currently costs around 120 rubles, up from around 75 a few weeks ago. Russia has been severely limited or outright cut off from pretty much every global financial system. We'll see how the invasion will develop in light of all this, since, you know, Russia actually has to pay for it. In the meantime, Russians have switched to indiscriminate bombing of Ukrainian cities and civilian infrastructure, which is a war crime, by the way, but also a sign of their frustration. Their victory is still far away, though. Rolling through the countryside is the easy part. part. Taking cities block by block is the hard part, and then maintaining their occupation is the expensive part. So we'll see how the situation will develop, and we might see some limited Russian success in the future, followed by a peace agreement. Or maybe Putin will just press the button. Very unlikely, but possible. As I mentioned, the South will be key here, so you should keep an eye on that for now. In the meantime,
So this is the Adam Something video, and let me actually put that shit in the chat. So you guys can actually watch it. I know I put it at fucking what's the name speed, but you guys can actually watch it. Now, mind you, that was almost 10 minutes of a video. That was more enjoyable than this bullshit from Coach Red Pill, and this is only 4 minutes. This is only 4 minutes. That shit felt like 3 fucking minutes. But this shit from this dumb fuck, this Terminal 9 motherfucking crazy ass Nazi, is literally just degrading on my fucking sanity. But let's continue.
The Russians are systematically surrounding all of the major cities, and whenever they come across a smaller town or village, they just advance and cover it and capture it and move on and continue with their advance. Whenever they meet any kind of serious resistance, they stop, pull back, and then encircle. One of the things that they want to capture.
Now, who do you think is telling the motherfucking truth here? Who do you think? Somebody who has pictures, sources, and all this other shit, or this dumb fuck right here? But let's continue.
Capture intact, and people don't seem to realize this, but it's very obvious if you think about it. They are trying to capture the Ukrainian army. That's not why there hasn't been any major battles with, hundreds or thousands of casualties. It's been light skirmishes.
But no, there are thousands of casualties. Like, okay.
For all intents and purposes, the Russian army is tiptoeing into Ukraine. Insofar
No, they're not. Even at day number 3, they weren't. Oh, okay.
as air power is concerned, the Russians in the first 3 hours wiped the Ukrainian skies of everything. The Russians own the Ukrainian skies. Any plane flying is Russian.
And any plane falling is also Russian. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, oh my God, oh my God. He just, like, does this audience really believe this shit? Does this audience really believe? I wish they would have took off the likes and dislikes. Well, they took off the dislikes. Let's see what the comment says. Okay. Many actions taken by Kiev and NATO country seem and still even more than a week after this video was posted. Nonsensical to the outside observers, but I want to lead some clarity to supplement the details in this video. What nonsensical actions I'm referring to? Several seemingly separate actions that are all part of the same overall plan, namely the release of prisoners conditional on their joining defense efforts, mass discrimination, distribution of over 25k automatic rifles and untold numbers of RPG to any civilians with hands to grab them, recruiting foreign language legions of volunteers and mercenaries despite Ukraine lacking a functional national military for these forces to which they may serve as auxiliary forces, and the foreign fighters being too few in numbers and without necessary integration to serve as a replacement for the military. Specifically calling for the recruits of them to be moved to the help of Turkey. Many reports indicate that head choppers have already been arriving, and lastly, NATO countries continue to pour military aid in the form of arms and money into the country without a functional military being present to receive them, let alone use them. Like, literally, man, all this is cope. All this is fucking cope. And he, like, definitely that's not English that I'm looking at right there. Oh my God, like, for real. Okay. Wow, okay, let's go. Yeah, tip throw two tulips.
Their army is concerned. This isn't World War II. This isn't a World War II where the Russian armies were kissing cousins of the Mongol hordes. You know what I'm saying? No, this is the modern Russian army.
Wow, that's fucking racist. That's like really racist. Oh, Russia had a very highly militaristic fucking army. If it was anything Stalin made sure of, they did. Also, Stalin made sure of the purges, but they did. They just threw a lot of fucking people at Germany, and that paid off.
that has the goal of capturing intact Ukraine and the Ukrainian army. Because the Russians realize that once they have captured Ukraine and changed the political leadership, they will need an army to protect and look after the Ukrainian state and the Ukrainian people and the Ukrainian land. They don't want to destroy the Ukrainian army. They could do that if they wanted to. They would have done that already.
No, they're being incompetent. Okay,
They own
let's
the
go.
skies over Ukraine. Their goal is to capture Ukraine, capture the Ukrainian army with as little casualties as possible to the Ukrainian army. And that's why whenever they come up against serious Ukrainian resistance, they keep consistently pulling back.
Or they could be losing. Like,
And
okay,
in the
let's
West,
go.
this is interpreted as the Russians are weak, which is so weird. It's like the
No, it's interpreted that the Russians are incompetent. That's most of the people that had 4 months of training. I don't get how he doesn't get that. And it's just like, oh my God, nobody thought that Putin was going to invade, including Putin. This shit is haphazard. But let's go.
The Russians are so weak, they're not advancing as fast. I mean, well, that is a separate issue that I'm going to get to in just a moment. But the Russians are so weak because they're not obliterating the Ukrainian army. Because that's what the Americans do. They obliterate anything that crosses their path. Friend or foe, they don't really care. But the Russians do care. That's why they're not obliterating the Ukrainian army when they could. A friend of mine, Alex Christoforou, in the Duran, great show, he pointed out something that I'd never considered, which is very obvious. He pointed out the fact that, you see, the current Ukrainian leadership in the military, the generals in Ukraine, they went to military academies with the generals of the Russian armies.
I'm just done. Like, this shit is fucking crazy. I just can't. I let him play almost as long as Adam Something. And Adam Something had a lot more information in his video than this fucker. And I just can't. My brain is exploding. My brain is done. My brain is dead. It's just like, fuckers like this think it's some kind of fucking chessboard. Aha, the West, I hate the West, so we gonna go to other big strong men. This shit is fucking stupid. And like, okay, we know Coach Red Pill is stupid, but fuck, this shit is fucking crazy. Here's the thing. If you have a sovereign nation, you don't want anybody to invade you. Point blank, period. At the bottom line, at the end of the day. In 5 points if you get where that shit is coming from. Like, no, stop. Fuck. Why are you being apologetic for a man who only wants conquest? But anyway, guys, I just can't anymore. Please like, share, subscribe, and all that other good shit. We're going to end the video here. All right.
That's all the time we have.
If I gave myself the power